ever went through something intense or any type of trauma or any new event in your life, you're bound to deal with some type of anxiety. The difference between people who experience regular, expected anxiety and people who deal with general anxiety on a daily basis is that these people don't have, not these people, I mean me too, people who deal with anxiety sometimes have no reason to be anxious at all, but it's just constant. Because first of all, if your brain is trained in that way to constantly be reacting not only to things that are actually happening, but to your environment, your body is triggered by certain things that you don't even realize. There were days that I woke up and I was in a bad mood and I had no idea why. And it could have been because of things that happened the day before that I was triggered by, but I wasn't emotionally intelligent enough to say, okay, something just triggered me, I need to deal with this emotion. More likely, something happened, I ignored it, and then the emotion of it was still carrying over to the next day. That's why when I say, mental health is not something that you choose. Nobody chooses to be anxious. Nobody chooses to be depressed. And sometimes it is clinical. Sometimes it is something that's a hormonal imbalance or something going on in the body. Different things. You can take different medications and become depressed or anxious. There's so many different factors. But what I do know is that if you obtain certain coping skills and you're able to start making a diary about the things that trigger you, the things that affect you, and what's going on in your life, and you're able to deal with things that happened in the past, and also use the positive things that came out of the past to deal with how you think about the future, you can retrain your brain. You have to be able to retrain the things that you are telling your mind you need to be worried about. The things you need to find out what emotions are related to certain activities to break that pattern. That's why stuff like electric shock treatments work, because they stimulate different triggers and different emotional reactions and break that pattern by relating it to something else. So if you break the patterns, if I say driving makes me anxious because I'm relating driving to me getting in an accident, then every time I'm in a car, I'm going to be triggered because I had this relation that driving means I could get in an accident. An accident means I can get injured, and being injured means I could die. And if I have all these relations, all of that is going to trigger me in my brain, even if I'm in no danger at all. And it is a plausible cause if you've been in an accident before, but how are you ever going to get in a car again and be able to drive by yourself if you have all these anxieties? That's when you need to retrain your brain to say, I'm being careful, I'm doing what I have to do driving. And yes, it is a possible risk, but this may be a risk I have to take because I have to go to work, I have to go to school, I have to drive my kids around. And you can't control what other people do, but you can control how you react.